Alright, so let's go ahead and create these holes that we need to create for this object. So I'm going to go back to my right view here. I'm going to select this polygon, basically where the holes are located in the image. And what I'm going to do is come up to my modeling ribbon. I'm going to go to the Subdivision tab over here. And there's three different options. There's an option here called Tessellate. What I'm going to do is hold down Shift and click on it to open up the options there for it. And let me just bring those options over here. Okay, so basically the main option here is to take this and decide if you're going to tessellate this based on the edge or the face. If I select face, it basically cuts across everything with this big X. That's no good, so I'm going to keep the mode set to edge. And basically what I'm going to do is hit the apply and continue button a few times. About right here is pretty good. You don't want to get too crazy with it, so I'm going to go with about this. And I'm going to hit OK. Right before I do anything else right there, I'm going to go ahead and come back over here to this guy. If I go ahead and take this polygon right here and I start doing the same thing, tessellate, I'm going to have a problem. The problem is this polygon is not very square shaped. This one that we did over here has more of a square shape, so the holes will be nice and even. But this one is very rectangular, it's very vertical, it's very tall and skinny. So what we need to do is we need to manually make some subdivisions to this to kind of clean it up, so to speak. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this edge and the edge on the right there. I'm going to use the connect tool. I'm going to connect this with a few segments. Maybe something like this looks pretty good. 5 segments for me looks pretty good, so I'm going to hit OK. Then I'm going to take from the top edge all the way to the bottom down here. Okay. Just select the edges that I have selected. I'm going to go back to the connect, and I'm going to make about maybe 1 segment there and hit OK. So now basically we end up with these shapes that look more like squares. See that? So the idea now is to go ahead and select all of these polygons, and I'm just going to quickly come in here and make sure they're the only polygons I have selected, which is the case. Come back to this view. I'm going to go to Subdivision again, hold down Shift and click on Tessellate to open up the options here. And I'm going to tessellate this, maybe I'll hit Apply and Continue. Yeah, that looks good. So I'll hit OK. So basically end up with all these little kind of squares right there. And we also got little squares over here on this side as well. Alright. So the next thing to do is I want to do all this stuff probably at the same time. So the way I'm going to do that is pretty simple. If I go ahead and just hold down the Control key and select all of these polygons here, it'll end up selecting the wrong polygons, as you can see. Okay. Right now it's selecting any polygons that are behind my selection, which is not good. I'll undo. To stop that type of behavior, what you can do is come over here to the Modify panel, hit the Ignore Backfacing option. Okay. If I hit that, and I were to come in here and select some of these polygons, you notice no polygons in the back of the selection get selected, which can be pretty useful for situations like this. Okay. So I'm going to go back to my side view here. I'm going to hold down the Control key. I'm going to select all of these kind of little squares right here and just quickly scan the object. Make sure you have all the correct polygons selected. I'm going to go to my quad menu and hit the Inset button. I want to make sure that my inset options pop up. The way it's insetting right now by default is no good. So what I'm going to do is go to the options and go to the top, the first option that has the option set to group. I'm going to select by polygon. And when I do that, each polygon gets separated. So if I change the parameter here to something like this, you'll notice that I get all these little polygons which are kind of separated. They're all being inset on their own. So I'll hit the OK button. Alright. And with all of these polygons selected, what I'm going to do is hit Shift and E to extrude. And I'm just going to go ahead and extrude these in a bit. Looks pretty good. So I'm just going to extrude them just a little bit in like that. Okay. And what I'm going to do is hold down the Control key and select the edge over here so I can get those edges. I'm going to go back to polygon mode. You still should have all of these polygons selected. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and delete all of those polygons because we have to have holes. That's the reason for deleting that. Now I'm going to go back to edge mode, and I conveniently have all of these edges selected. So now what I can do is subdivide this, because right now the holes are square and in the image the holes are more round. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back up to my Subdivision tab up here in the Graphite Modeling Tools. And this time I'm going to go with Mesh Smooth. I'm going to hold down Shift and click on that. And you're going to notice that it does this kind of smoothing here on the object. When I do it once, I end up with something that's sort of semi-smooth, doesn't look too good. So I'm going to go ahead and go to Grow Selection. I'm going to grow that one time, and you should end up with something like this. See that? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and hit the, a little bit hard to see right there. I'm going to hit the Apply and Continue button one more time. And you should have holes that are a little bit more round. And I'm going to hit the Grow button. And when I hit that Grow button one more time, I end up with something that looks a little bit better. I'm going to hit the OK button and say I'm happy with that. And if I render this out, you can see I get these nice holes. The only problem is that there's some faceting right there. We have to go ahead and smooth that out. So to smooth that out, what I'm going to do is hold down Control with those edges selected and click on the Polygon button here. And that'll select all of these polygons. And just make sure that the same thing is happening on the other side. So make sure the vent holes on the right and the left are getting the changes updated simultaneously. What I'm going to do is hit the Grow button one time, and then maybe I'll hit it one more time, and now I should have all of these polygons selected, which is perfect. And then what I'm going to do is come down here to my smoothing groups, and I'm going to hit Auto Smooth. And once I hit Auto Smooth, that problem with the faceting should be fixed. So if I render that out, voila, perfect holes on the side here of the panel, the way it looks in the image. Awesome. That looks fantastic. Just going to render that out one more time from here. Make sure that my normals and everything are okay. Looks like I may have some smoothing problems with the side panel a little bit. Maybe, or maybe not. Actually, no, it looks pretty good. Right, not bad. Okay, so there you go. That's how you make the grill holes. Pretty simple process, pretty cool technique for doing them pretty quick and easy. Okay, now in the image, we also have a set of grill holes. You notice that also, once you start making that type of geometry, your scene will slow down a bit simply because there's so many polygons there. We also have these grill holes on the top up here, okay? But it's basically the same technique that we saw down here. So I've already shown you the technique 2 times. Once over here on this right side, and once over here on the left side over here, alright? So I'm not going to be redundant and waste your time showing you how to do the same exact thing a 3rd time. So here's the challenge for you. Go ahead on your own and create the grill holes on the top right here using the same technique that I've already showed you. So go ahead and do that on your own. I'm going to do that on my own. And in the next video, we'll just go ahead and continue here and work on the opposite side of this object.